It was to be their happiest night ever. The night of September 17, 2018, Aaron Caldwell and Jessica Monroe stood under a white rose canopy, exchanging vows before 200 people at the upscale Willow Creek Manor in Charleston, South Carolina. The wedding was a fairy tale come true. Jessica, who was 27 years old and a nurse, wore a stunning lace wedding dress, her blonde hair flowing in gentle waves. Aaron, 30 and an investment banker, was the epitome of confidence and suave, wearing a bespoke navy suit. They were madly in love, or at least that's what it seemed. The party was lively, full of laughter and dancing, toasts by close family and friends. But as the evening went on, something unimaginable occurred. Minutes after midnight, while the party raged on, the groom disappeared. Nobody missed him at first. Perhaps he had stepped outside to get some fresh air. Perhaps he had had too many drinks and wandered off to clear his head. But as the minutes became hours and guests began combing the venue, panic ensued. By dawn over Charleston, the wedding had become a crime scene. Aaron was nowhere to be found. And what detectives would learn in the next 48 hours was more sinister than anyone could have imagined. The first to realize that Aaron was missing was Jessica herself. At 12:15 a.m., she excused herself from the dance floor, hoping to find her new husband for their farewell toast. She checked the bar, the restroom, and even outside the venue. Nothing. She asked his best man, Ethan Carter, who shrugged and said, "I saw him heading toward the parking lot, but that was like 20 minutes ago." Concerned but not yet alarmed, Jessica grabbed her phone and called Aaron. The phone rang and rang until it eventually went to voicemail. By 1 a.m., panic had begun. The groomsmen started searching the grounds while Jessica phoned his parents, his friends, anyone who could possibly have an explanation. Nothing. At 2:30 a.m., security tapes from the venue were checked. And that's when the first lead was discovered. Aaron had been spotted walking towards the parking lot by himself at 11:58 p.m. But this is where it got creepy. The camera never recorded him departing. He disappeared into thin air. That's when Jessica called the police. What began as a missing persons case was soon going to be something much worse. By morning, detectives were fully engaged. The first 24 hours in a disappearance were crucial, and they started by investigating Aaron's history. On the surface, he was a model citizen, successful, popular, and head over heels in love with his new bride. But when detectives investigated, they uncovered red flags that no one had previously observed. Aaron had a history of vanishing. 3 years ago, he had disappeared for 2 days on a business trip. He had said he had been robbed and left unconscious, but police records indicated no signs of foul play. He was deeply in debt. Even though he had a lucrative job, Aaron had run up more than $200,000 in gambling debt. There was another woman. There was a mystery woman, Sophia Hale, who had been texting Aaron the night before the wedding. Jessica was stunned. She had never known about Aaron's gambling addiction or his previous disappearance. And now, with her husband gone missing, she found herself thinking, had Aaron escaped? Or had someone kidnapped him? By September 18th, within 48 hours, the case took a dramatic turn. A 911 call was made from a gas station on the outskirts of Charleston. One of the clerks had witnessed a man stumbling into the store, drenched in blood, muttering nonsensically. It was Aaron Caldwell. He was alive. But what he had to say to police shook everything up. Officers arrived to find Aaron incoherent, dehydrated, and shaking. He was repeating the same thing constantly, "I shouldn't be alive." Once he was brought to the hospital, detectives started piecing together his tale. Aaron said that mere minutes before midnight, he had received an anonymous text message that said, "You owe. Time to pay up." Scared, he had stepped out of the wedding reception to meet someone in the parking lot. That's when everything went black. The next thing he knew, he was waking up in the trunk of a moving vehicle. The vehicle came to a stop. The trunk was opened and he was hauled out of the woods by 2 ski-masking men. They bashed him mercilessly, requiring money. Aaron pleaded with his life that he didn't have the cash on him. Then, one of them took out a blade. They stated, "If you can't pay in cash, you'll pay in blood." And they attacked him. Savage cuts all over his arms, chest, and legs, like they wanted to send some sort of signal. But just when Aaron believed he was going to die, he heard the sound of sirens in the distance. The men panicked and ran, leaving him bleeding in the forest. Aaron stumbled for miles before he finally arrived at the gas station. But this is the weirdest part. When police searched the woods, they discovered no trace of a struggle. No tire tracks. No blood trail. Nothing. It was as if the attack never occurred. And that's when detectives started questioning Aaron's tale. Had he been kidnapped at all? Or a last-ditch effort to get away from the secrets closing in? A plot of sinistrity unwinding when detectives leaned more and more in, Aaron's tale began to break down. His wounds, although bad, were curiously controlled, as though he had given himself them. And then there was a revelation bombshell. Police drew police camera footage from a motel within 2 miles of the gas station. And there, at 6 a.m. on September 18th, Aaron was spotted checking out of a room. He hadn't spent all night wandering through the woods. He had been hiding. The truth was out. Aaron had staged his own kidnapping. But the biggest question of all was, why? On September 19th, police confronted Aaron with the facts. And at last, he cracked. It was never about gambling debt. It was never about a mysterious kidnapping. Aaron had been living a double life. For the previous 4 years, he was secretly engaged to another woman in Florida. And only 3 days prior to the wedding, she had given birth to his baby. When she learned about Aaron's wedding, she threatened to ruin him. Scared, Aaron could think of only one option. He faked his own disappearance, hoping Jessica would think he'd been killed or that she'd just get over him. Instead, his cowardly attempt at escape became one of history's most inexplicable wedding night enigmas. Aaron was charged with making a false police report and fraud. Jessica filed for an annulment forthwith. His Florida secret fiancée? She filed charges of fraud and emotional distress. Aaron's fairy tale wedding ended in humiliation. And his selfish choice wrecked 2 lives simultaneously. What was supposed to be a love tale for the ages turned into a creepy reminder of how lying can get out of hand. At times, the individual whom you love the most turns out to be keeping the darkest secrets. What's your take on this case? Share with us in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more mouth-dropping true crime tales.